Hi, I'm Kirstin Kelly. Patreon is a crowdfunding website that helps fund these videos. Thank you so much to all my patrons who already support me. If you'd like to join them, please check out my website, Kirstin Kelly Equestrian, or look in the description of this video. In today's video, we're going to look at horses that drop behind the bit and get heavy. So there's two things you need to think about. One, yes, the horse rolls over and he drops his head down, but also what actually is powering the horse. He needs to rock his weight back onto his hindquarters and lift his shoulders. So by lifting the rein and getting his head up is not going to fix the problem. You actually need to do both. You need to lift the head, but you also need to get him to do exercises to sit on his backside, lower his hind end and lift his shoulders up. So when we look at the horse being on the bit, you want to have the pole here as the highest point and his head must be vertical. So when a horse becomes behind the bit, basically what that means is that his head becomes behind that vertical line there. Generally what happens is that if the horse is heavy when he goes behind the vertical, it's because he has too much weight on his forehand, not enough on the back end, and so it encourages him to lean onto the bit. And then if the rider pulls too much, it pulls them behind the vertical. So what we're going to do is give you two ways to fix it. The first way is being able to lift him up. So when he gets too low, what I want you to do, it doesn't matter which hand really, I think either works, is just tweak it up. So it's just, yep. And whenever you do it, there's never any backward pull, because if you go get up, what that does is when he's behind the vertical, it actually pulls him further behind the vertical. So it's a tweak towards his ear feeling. So it's a little tweak up. That's it. And it can be quite short like this, depending on how heavy they are. Some of them become so heavy that they feel like they're dragging your arms out. So then it's a little like get up. But always remember, never back, it's always up forwards. And when your horse is first being taught how to come back up again, don't be alarmed, it will get ugly. So when you say get your head up, he will come off the bit. So it won't be pretty anymore. You cannot get him up and still keep him looking beautiful. You have to sacrifice that moment and say, you've gone behind the bit, come up, good, and then he's good again, and then the moment he does it again, you correct him. So there will be a process of about a week where you constantly have to remind him, because if he's got into the habit of being behind the vertical, it's an easy way to avoid working. Then the next thing is we're going to do some exercises now, teaching him to pull his weight up off his shoulders and sit back on his hindquarters. Okay, so let's go out and do some work. So I want you to try to do a bit of a demo. Bring him a bit rounder so he's overbent. Watch that inside hand's not moving. So at the moment he's pretty much on the vertical. He looks all right. Typical, because he often is behind the vertical and heavy. So what I want you to do is I want you to slow your rise by engaging your core, bearing down a little in your insides, and slow the trot right down. That's it. And then I want you to show me a little burst where you go bigger. Keep him a little rounder there. Keep watching where you're going. That's it. Now slow the trot again by holding through your obliques, bear down and slow them down. Slow it down, slow it down. That's it. And ride forward again. Keep the roundness. That's it. Slow it down again by bearing down through your center, bracing through your obliques. Slow it right down. And if he feels like he's heavy, a little pulse on the outside rein. That's it. Then I want you to show me a downward transition. Typically today he's not going to be overbent and heavy. Never mind. You just have to visualize that he's overbent and heavy. So what I want you to do is go back up to the trot. So the exercises you do for a horse that's heavy and overbent is that you do lots of transitions within a pace. So that's what we were demoing just there, being able to slow them down and send them forward. Once you feel like you've got that sorted, now we're going to do the opposite. Go forward for a burst of 3 steps and back. Think about the holding with your rise. Watch your diagonal. That's it. Good. Keep the roundness. and ride him forward again, and back again, bring him round, and now put in a downward transition. Think about only using your core. Good girl. Back up to the trot again. Keep the roundness. That's it. And now I want you to do that little demo of what we talked about with the horse gets overbent. So take one hand and give it a little tweak towards his ears. Yep, that's it. Good girl. Just do that again for everybody. Tweak up, yes, and then carry your hand as normal. One thing to think about as well is that if your horse is going overbent because you can't help but pull too much, then there's a really good exercise to do. So I'm going to show you, go forwards to the walk. So if your horse goes behind the bit because you are holding, so then just halt there. Then another exercise is to, good boy, is to put the reins over the head, but we're going to do it this way. Now when you do this at home, what I normally do is I put a piece of string attached from the rein to the other rein so that if you were to drop one rein, you're not left there with nothing. Okay, now I want you to walk on like that. This exercise means that you can't pull back. See how the bottom rein there is hooked around the base of his neck? So you can only keep a beautiful contact. And what it does is it really teaches the rider about riding forward to meet your hand rather than being able to pull the hand back. Pop up to the trot, Claudia, and have a little feel of that. Excellent. So this is a very good exercise for teaching you how to feel like you keep the hand up and carried and you ride the horse without pulling the contact back. So as I say, as a safety measure, just put a bit of string from one rein over the top of the mane there. But you can see there how it helps lift the horse from the base of the neck because it teaches the rider to ride uphill to the hand. Okay, Claudia, you can go back to the walk now. And that's great. Excellent.